Yo, what's going on people? It's your boy Ape Huncho back at you again with another video, and so today I want to go over a story where, although we don't know what exactly kickstarted this situation off, all we know is that luck would be on the side of the victims, and for the perpetrators, what would start off as potentially something very little would eventually open a Pandora's box of problems for them as this whole situation proceeded. So we've got to go back to around 12:30 AM on the 25th of August 2019, where Richard Palmer would be captured on CCTV in the passenger seat of a silver Jaguar, which was parked up on Rupert Street in Soho. He's captured leaving the vehicle and attending Opium nightclub, which was close by. Around 2.5 hours later, a fight breaks out within the nightclub between Richard Palmer and his group and Tristian Samuels and his group, which resulted in one man from Tristian's group being stabbed. Again, it isn't reported what started the fight or whether the two groups even knew each other. So the club closes a short while later and everyone leaves, and for the two groups who had just fought in the club, they would resume their brawl outside on Rupert Street. This is what would happen next. So, during the altercation outside, Tristian Samuels is captured on video running away from the scene, with Richard Palmer chasing him in quick pursuit. Richard then draws for a Beretta handgun from his bag, which resulted in screaming and shouting from innocent bystanders. It was also reported that one man could be heard yelling to Tristian to run. Richard would soon catch up to Tristian though and fired 2 shots at him in the middle of a busy street full of onlookers. As a result of the shooting, he was hit twice in the back. At around 3:20 AM, Richard is then seen running back to the Jaguar he came to the nightclub in, and the car flees the scene. For Tristian, he would go on to present himself in hospital at around 3:30 AM with gunshot injuries, and although he suffered damage to his internal organs, luckily for him his injuries were non-life-threatening, although it was reported that they easily could have been. Tristian's friend who had been stabbed in the club was taken to hospital by paramedics who arrived at the scene, and again for him he was actually treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Detectives from the Special Crime Command would attend the scene a short while later and would go on to discover 2 bullet casings. The investigation moved swiftly as multiple witnesses came forward and handed over footage of the shooting itself, again which you would have seen. The following day, on the 26th of August 2019, detectives investigating the incident would find a silver Jaguar car parked outside an address in Ruislip. Now, although the description was the same, it would take an examination of fingerprints on the car to prove it was the same one used in the shooting, and if you didn't guess it by now, Richard's fingerprints were found on the rear doors of the car. Further inquiries would also go on to reveal that on the 26th of August 2019, Richard would meet up with a man by the name of Bolanle Roberts, where he would help dispose of the Beretta used in the shooting. This was established after police found there was mobile phone contact between both men, along with the support of ANPR evidence. The ANPR evidence suggested that both of the men went to a property on Coleridge Road, and bear this address in mind because it will become more relevant as the story goes on. On the 27th of August 2019, police would catch up with Bolanle after a pursuit, and when he was eventually stopped by officers, he was found to be in possession of £48,000 in cash, as well as 600 grams of heroin and 14.6 kilograms of crack cocaine, which had the combined street value of around £27,000 according to the police report. He was also found to be in possession of keys to a property again on Coleridge Drive, in Ruislip. And remember, this is the same address we spoke about earlier, but it still isn't quite relevant right now. So again, just bear that one in mind when it does become relevant. After becoming aware of Bolanle's arrest, Richard decided to take it upon himself to hide away to evade police capture, and was assisted by a man by the name of Robert Dolan. On the 28th and the 29th of August 2019, repeated mobile phone calls were made between the pair, with Robert going on to contact a number of hotels in the area. On the 28th, a conversation was made between the pair where they discussed the shooting itself, Bolanle's arrest, that the police had arrested the wrong person, the firearm, Richard saying that he was worried he was caught on CCTV, and that he was worried his fingerprints were on the Jaguar. This conversation led to Robert helping out Richard, and this is where they found a hotel in Hanwell. In the early hours of the 29th of August 2019, the pair went to a takeaway together in the Hounslow area before travelling to the hotel in Hanwell. Richard stayed at the hotel and was arrested there in the early hours of the 30th of August 2019, with Robert going on to be arrested on the same day at his home address in Teddington, where officers seized a shoebox containing around £7,000 and a mobile phone, which had the same number provided to the hotel staff the day before. So now we need to rewind back to the 28th of August 2019, and remember, Bolanle had just been stopped by police the day prior after giving them a police chase. Now, remember how we spoke about that address? Well, this is what happened when the police would search that property. Upon searching the address, they found a cache of firearms and ammunition hidden in a rucksack that was in an airing cupboard, as well as around 2 kilograms of heroin with a street value of around £95,000, again according to the police report. It was believed that Bolanle was in fact a quote quartermaster who had a stockpile of firearms and ammunition ready to produce at any moment when people needed them. 4 firearms had been seized by police from the property, and with the one used in the shooting, that made it 5, and according to the police, after all 5 firearms were sent off for testing, they were found to be in fully working order. Eventually, all men would go on to be arrested and charged, and they would go on to plead guilty to the charges that were brought against them and were recently sentenced. Richard Palmer received a 15.5-year prison sentence, Bolanle Roberts received a 15-year prison sentence, and Robert Dolan received a 12.5-year prison sentence. And so again, as you can see, like I said at the start of the video, for the people involved in this situation that were the perpetrators, something so small, again, we don't know exactly what it was, but it could have been maybe a bump in the nightclub or something like that. And at the end of the day, it's led to 3 people going on to be sentenced to a long time in jail. And again, luckily for the people who had been shot and stabbed in the situation, they would go on to make full recoveries. And it just goes to show you that a little situation, when escalated, could blow up to something completely different, with people nearly losing their lives and people going on to spend a very long time in jail. But let me know what you guys think of this down in the comment section below. Give the video a little like, and if you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Huncho, and I'm out.